All right, let's talk about South Carolina, Clemson. Big win for South Carolina. Very big win. Big win for their program. Big win for the college football playoff in general, just to, I think, show and establish what kind of flexibility the playoff is going to have moving forward. I thought LaNorris Sellers, I've been saying this since the beginning, but I thought LaNorris Sellers was very special. His ability to break tackles, if I'm not mistaken, I think he broke like record 17 tackles in this game. His ability to break tackles, but he's also very, very consistent in the passing game as well. His ability to break tackles, make you miss, and make a play down the field when that was not the design play call. I mean, he's very dangerous. I liken him to Cam Newton 2.0. It's going to be faster, more in shape, not as big, but very big, deceptively big. 6'3", 242 pounds. I think South Carolina is one of the more explosive teams. My question was at the start of this game, who was going to be the most disciplined? Because South Carolina tends to find ways to lose games. They tend to find ways to lose games by way of bad penalties. Sometimes they can just be very undisciplined, this team. Had a couple good drives early in the game. In the middle of a very good drive, Sellers had a fumble, gave Clemson the ball back. I found it interesting that both quarterbacks scored 2 touchdowns in this game on the ground. Cade Klubnik, 24-36 in the air, 280 yards, but he did have an interception. And you got LaNorris Sellers, 13 of 21, 164 yards, a little less in the passing game, but very productive. 16 carries, 166 yards on the ground. I mean, both those guys played a pretty good ball game. Clemson still has somewhat of a pedestrian offense. Really interesting to see them come into this game, lose the game, but then have the opportunity to play for the ACC title because of Miami and Syracuse. Going to talk about that one just in a second here. That's part of the craziness of college football, part of the craziness of this past week, part of the craziness of this entire season. Because if you're winning your conference games, if you focus on your conference games, you're going to have an opportunity at the end of the season regardless of whatever you did outside of conference play, which is one of the reasons I had such issues with what Lane Kiffin was talking about when he brought up, not really sure if we want to play in the SEC title game. Well, you're not going to be playing in that game, but ultimately there should always be precedence. There should always be a priority on playing in your conference title game. You're representing the conference. You're going to be the head of the conference, point blank period, whether you win the title or not. The title is later on in the season, and far too many teams have been looking ahead. And I think it's why a lot of teams have been coming up short, because they're constantly looking ahead and not focused on their opponent at hand. Didn't happen in this game. I do feel like Clemson was focused on their opponent. I just think it was a hard-fought battle. And I think South Carolina won it at the end because they play everybody tough. I think this team is better than what they really are. I just think they're young and they make a lot of stupid mistakes, tend to hurt themselves. But, they got the W in this one. South Carolina's not going to an SEC title game, but I believe they're going to a playoff, and I think they're going to give a lot of people some problems. If they mess around, get a good matchup, win their first game, I mean, you're looking at a very dangerous team that I don't think anybody really wants any problems with, okay? Let's move on.